counting up to 1, 2, 3.
What is going on, members of the Shy Guys squad, and welcome to a very new exciting video here on the channel where today the plan is to discuss the UCL finals between Leo's 6-foot hacks and the Durham Druddigons and Miguel, Mega Mogwai, and the Real Maril, and we're going to look at Leo's side, his team, what we expect him to bring. And you hear me say here, we, well, who are we, Dan? Now, let me tell you, we got a new friend here, got a new person on the channel that I want to introduce to you guys. A new recent friend that we've talked to. If you came over from his channel, welcome. If not, this is Warfor120.
Hey there, my name is Levinant, aka Warfor120. My camera just awkwardly popped on there a little bit with delay. So hello guys, I'm Levinant, aka Warfor120. I'm an American. He's a Norwegian. This is a great combination, right? I'm excited right here. We've done the Mega Mogwai and the Real Mirai on my channel, and now we're excited to take it back and bring it down and show you what the Durham Druddigons are going to do on this channel. Give me a high five, Dan. I believe it. So.
Nailed it. But yeah, so what we're gonna go through here today, we're gonna run over Leo's usage stats because they have a common thing of telling what a person, like, it tells the story of what the people feel more comfortable with using and stuff. We're also gonna look at Leo's weaknesses, and let me tell you, there are a bunch of them, as well as we're gonna look at a team that me and Warfor work together on to build that we think is the well, it's a high probability that Leo could bring these, as they are very good sets, except for one. I will let you guys know right now. There is a spoiler warning. One set is a bit more on the fun side that I had a little bit more fun with, but it can still functionally work against Miguel, which is the scary part. But other than that, we're going to take a quick look at Leo's roster. If you could pop that on the screen.
Oh, it's on the screen, baby. Yeehaw.
As Gucci. So, as you can see, his first mon here, well, let's start with his most used mon. Unlike Miguel, who used his first mon the most, my man, Leo, 6-foot hacks, has used his Mega the most. Mega Blastoise has been brought to 14 out of the 15 games this season, and that definitely tells a bit of how much Leo loves this thing.
Now, as far as that goes as well, also, Mega Blastoise, just so you guys are understanding, was the absolute top killer this season in terms of overall KOs. 24 direct KOs in this house. That'd be some kills, son. That'd be some kills. And you know what? While Mega Mogwai may have the number 2 killer in Mega Latios combo, with only having a lot less deaths, the fact that Blastoise, which is usually an overlooked Mega, was still able to do this kind of work is freaking lit. You know what I'm saying?
That is indeed pretty crazy. Just consider that of all the Megas and all the Pokemon, as we can look from just standard looking at the main hub on the UCL page. I'm going to look at this myself, and then I'm going to tell you guys what I mean by it. So at the general thing, out of all the Megas and all the Pokemon that can be in the top 10, the other contenders we have are Mega Latios from the Real Maril, which are 22 and 2. We have Mega Lopunny, which is often considered by most people to be one of the most busted Megas with 20 and 5. There is Mega Scizor on the list here, which also people claim to be the most busted Mega in OU, even though I have my ifs and buts about that. At 18 and 7, Kyurem Black, the monster himself, is there, and even the other Lottie twin Mega Latias, as well as Alakazam, regular Mega Alakazam, that is, regular Kyurem, Dragonite, and Jirachi. But having Blastoise on top of all of these with 24 KOs, that really just shows what Leo has been capable of doing with this monstrous turtle this season.
Now, probably the biggest thing that we want to touch on as well with Leo is that Leo has one big difference between his team and Mega Mogwai's team, and you're going to see this, very obviously found out from his kills and deaths on there. He has a little bit more of a predictable in terms of who he's bringing each match. When we're looking at Miguel Mogwai on my channel, there are things that, he had a lot more spread out usage stats across his entire team. Whereas Leo has, 4 Mons with 11 or more Brats. That's
Let's just look at it right here real quick. Let's just run through. We got you, of course, like we mentioned, Blastoise with 14 games played. And I'm sorry we're interrupting each other. This is not scripted at all. We're going on the fly.
It's all
He's
good.
got Victini with 13 brought, as well as 11 kills, 8 deaths. He's got the Clefable, which, I mean, we all know that Clefable is the most busted fairy of them all, For whatever reason, due to it, even though it has like very lackluster stats, like 95, 73, 90 defenses, that is not really that good. But despite that, Clefable seems to be that fairy that never dies.
Pretty
Because
much.
Calm Minded, Cosmic Power, Soft Boil, it's just there and it's annoying. And then he also has Horsepower or Terrakion that he also loves bringing because it has such a strong offensive presence. Fighting typing is a great typing. Rock typing is also a great one, as well as access to Stealth Rocks, Stone Edge, Close Combat, X Scissor, this Swords Dance, Substitute. This thing can be like a Salad Berry, like really scary threat. There's a lot of things that Terrakion can do, and there's no ifs or buts about the fact that Leo's been able to exploit that. But as we can see from the rest of his team, we see Shaman 9 times. Registeel, I know he likes his Bruno 7 times. Druddigon, also 7 times. And this is where it starts going down. Crocodile 6, Sigilif 3, Skuntank 3, Leafeon only twice, and Substrika 2 times.
And what
So
that
it's
tells you
clearly
right there,
showing.
yeah. And what that tells you right there, when you start seeing someone that really doesn't have very much usage with quite a few mons on his table, it doesn't mean you can't prep for them, but it does mean that you've got a guy who does not feel comfortable putting them in a roster. Correct?
Like, you can clearly see, like, I've watched, as you can see from the mons that he has brought less. Like, we can take a look at the bottom 4 Pokemon. Sigilif, it has 2 kills and 2 deaths. Has been brought to 3 games. Skuntank has 1 kill, 1 passive kill, that is, and 2 deaths. 3 games played. Leafeon has 1 kill, 2 deaths. And Substrika also only 1 kill, 1 death. Which shows that Leo has been kind of holding these guys back. Haven't really been too comfortable with them, I suppose, and the matchups just haven't been right for him. For all I know, it could just be the matchups that just don't fit for a fast electric type, even though I've never doubted a fast electric type before. But I guess Substrika just really doesn't have that offensive power to be that Jolteon or Electros or Raikou for that matter.
But also,
So there clearly is something missing.
yeah, but also its biggest problem with Zebstrika is that Zebstrika is more of a physical presence, whereas with a fast electric type, you usually want to have a Volt Switcher. So I mean that's probably that could be possibly why it's been held back. We don't really know though. But the big thing is that Leo's basically going to have this type of situation and experience with this roster going into this match. And we're seeing it in the stats right here, who he's comfortable with, who he's not comfortable with. And I'm excited to see what he's going to be bringing. So, Dan, do you want to go over, let's go over the weaknesses for our opponent's team.
Let's just go take a quick look at our opponent, which is, of course, if you haven't checked out from Warfor's channel, or didn't pay attention to the entire intro sequence for that really matter, we're facing up against the Real Maril and Miguel, aka Mega Mogwai. And his team, just to recap that for you guys as well, he has Tornadus Therian, Megalodios, Klefki, Mamoswine, Tentacruel, Galvantula, Emboar, Exploud, Medicham, Gorgai Super, Regirock, Floatzel, and that is his team. And for this, he, as you guys can see here, he has a 2 times weakness to Bug, which actually is only 1, because I think Latios and Megalodios count as 1 entity. He's got 2 dark weaknesses, 1 Dragon, 3 Electric, 2 Fairy, 3 Fighting, 3 Fire, 3 Flying, 3 Ghost, 3 Grass, 4 Ground, 3 Ice, 2 Psychic, 2 Rock, 2 Steel, and 3 Waters. But what he has in offense, what he is weak to, he can sure as hell cover in resistances. As you can see from the bottom here, he has a total of 46 times 2 weaknesses, and he has a total of 67 resistances on his team, with 9 immunities to certain types, 3 ground immunities, 1 ghost immunity, 1 fighting immunity, 1 electric immunity, 1 dragon immunity, and a poison immunity. He has a goddamn bunch of times 2 resistances. I'm not gonna get into there. And he has 2 bug quad resistances. So that really shows that Miguel has drafted a very solid team, but I still personally think that Leo is very capable of breaking through. If I recall correctly, I think Leo beat Miguel the first time they played against each other. I might be wrong on that. I might be right on that. I'm not sure. I could always double check it. Give me a slight second. Again, yes, last time Miguel and Leo fought, Leo won the match 3-0 in week 5. So a lot has happened since then, but now we're going to quickly snuggle over to Showdown to look at the team build that we kind of think Leo could bring.
Absolutely. I mean, 1 second, we're doing this real fast. And one of the cool things as well is that if you notice, both of these two teams had a very similar thing, that they were both very exposed to ice and ground. But what was really cool about it is that while you saw with Leo's team right here, we're looking at a team that doesn't have the ability, that really doesn't have the ability to be as immune to it. Whereas with Mogwai, both of these teams are exposed to ice and ground, so it played a very big part into how we were building when we were building these rosters. And when we're building Leo's roster right here, when we see a weakness, we have to exploit it. Correct, Dan?
That would be absolutely correct. I was looking into a lot of weaknesses, and I was looking into his mods, and of course, I was also looking into a bit of usage stats as well when it came to Miguel's team. We were looking at that when it came down to team building, and I feel personally that we've come up with the best strategy for this team. Mm-hmm. And our first mod that we have right here is Vicente the Victini, a choice card Victini, because I know, like we both know, I personally as well from watching all the games, Miguel loves sticky webs. He loves spikes and he loves stealth rocks. He loves his hazards. Toxic spikes, they're nice, but they're not his the main one. It's sticky web because of Galvantula, spikes with Klefki, and then stealth rocks from whichever rocker he chooses to use. So we decided to bring a Scarf Vicente as it outspeeds everything on his team, including Scarfers, and even after sticky webs, we're still outspeeding a good chunk of his team. And that allows us, and we figured out looking at Miguel's team that a special Victini would be a lot more beneficial than a physical one. So this thing has the coverage of Blue Flare, Glaciate, and Thunder for the special moves, and then U-turn to keep up momentum for Leo's side, because you want to have that you want to have the initiative at most times, and a Scarf U-turn can really change the game for you really fast in case you have a bad matchup.
And what's really cool about this, when we're looking over it, obviously, Victini, a lot of you guys maybe out there going, well, why aren't you going to be using physical V-Create? Well, it just doesn't work as well. You want to have a balanced roster, okay? You really do. You want to be able to pound on the physical as well as the special. And when you got this kind of exposure and availability, the move set for Victini works better on special because it's allowing us to be able to exploit one of the big weaknesses on his roster a bit harder. And that's using Glaciate, which is an ice-type move, to be able to pound those four ice weaknesses, well, 3 ice weaknesses, well, with Mega Latios being 2 of those, being on that roster. So it just makes it a little bit more viable for us to be able to use it. Like I said, having the U-turn gives us a great situation for us, and we're excited for that. I think this roster is solid for that special Victini.
And also adding up on the Victini, as you mentioned with the Glaciate and exploiting the weaknesses, the thing is, if Miguel swaps in on a Glaciate, his mod has a 100% chance, like Victini's Glaciate has a 100% chance to lower the foe speed by 1 stage, which means that even after Glaciate, if we swap in on the Sticky Web, you're both at basically neutral since you're both at -1. So you'll be sitting in a very comfortable position with Glaciate, which is a very nice move, and of course, unfortunate that UCL don't use them thumbnails that are looking clean with screenshots and stuff, because Glaciate, that is one hell of a thumbnail picture, I'll tell you what. And then Blue Flare, of course, has that 20% chance to burn, and Thunder with that 30% chance of the yellow color. And how often does Skull burn? The same amount as Thunder has to paralyze.
Boom.
Boom. Of course, drop the bomb. Bombshell.
Let's move over to the overall top killer of the UCL. We wanted to pop in and make sure that, look, he brought it to so many matches. He's not going to leave it out of the championship game, okay? That'd be like me going, relying and building and fighting and doing everything that I can to use this one thing and make it work, and then all of a sudden just saying goodbye to it whenever it's all ready to go. It's like, look, I rode this horse all the way to the promised land. Now get off so I can walk through the gates. We ain't doing that. We're riding the horse all the way through. Or at least we think, Leo will do this. We've got ourselves a Blastoise Mega on here. Boom. Mega Launcher, once it gets up, it's going to be fun. We got the Rapid Spin, obviously, because we know that Miguel wants to throw hazards. We got to have a way to get rid of them, right? We got also the D-Pulse on there, being able to counteract a little bit more things on the roster as well as the ice beam. Ice beam is very useful for this for our to hop on our opponent. Like I said, 3 ice weaknesses. Boom, it hurts. Nothing in the world is immune to ice except for Shedinja. So this will be really fun, and of course the Scald Burn possibilities to nerf the physical attackers. Boom. I'm
And
liking
then as
that.
we are looking at the stat distribution as well for Blastoise, it has that max special attack just for the absolute most necessary like damage output that can assure some KOs, get rid of them. Of course, these EV spreads are of course not final. These are just like suggestions from our side. We've not ran them into the damage calcs and stuff to see how much do I need to live a hit from this thing and what would require for this to happen. But what we have done here is like basic speed creeping and like that stat distribution. And what we decided to do, as you guys can see, we have 28 speed, and this allows us to outspeed a 4 speed invested Mamoswine. So we have a little bit of speed as the chance to go for that first Scald, which will be absolutely huge because it has a chance to OHKO most variants of Mamoswine from a stab Scald from a Mega Blastoise. Goodbye. We also have a lot of bulk because like as we mentioned, we don't need a lot of speed, and this could have, of course, been distributed into either. Also, let me make this modest, not mild. It's not supposed to be mild. It's supposed to be modest, because rapid spin isn't killing anything, anyways, like Hostway. But we have a bunch of HP in there and some defense, and like no defense because we didn't really need it, and we were thinking HP, just toss that in here. A lot of bulk because Blastoise is insanely naturally bulky. If we go to the import and change that to Mega, and you look at that real quick. It all of a sudden has a base 120 defense, base 115 speed F, base 135 special attack, and the still same 79 HP. That is a lot of bulk, which we can easily, like Leo can easily take advantage of, which is why we think Mega Blastoise has been able to go 24 in 10.
Yeah, because a lot of times if you're able to play your walls correctly, you're able to just stand in front of things and be able to make them have to play the switch game around you. Mega Launcher is a huge ability, and whenever it's we're able to actually exploit that, be able to take the move sets and also just the coverage that Blastoise has, and be able to smack some things around. Also dealing with the fact that Blastoise only has 2 weaknesses. That's huge. That's huge.
My boy Tortuga out here, or as you guys know from my channel, over in the Nitro Battle Association, my boy Sean, he's only weak to grass and electric. That is like amazing. Like how often you don't really see that. One of the things that we need to worry about on Miguel's team though is Gorgas, which I mean I'm not going to consider too much of a threat as this thing outspeeds, has Dark Pulse and Ice Beam to deal with it. But the one thing we need to be worried about on Miguel's team when we were building is the Galvantula, Peter the Galvantula, because it outspeeds, it has the electric coverage, it's stab, and Blastoise isn't exactly going to appreciate it. Now another thing that came to mind when building this was Miracle Blastoise, but I didn't want to take all the time to run in and just be like, okay, so how much do I need to do to live a Thunderbolt from a after Stealth Rocks? Is that even possible? Let me check. Nope, I don't want to. I didn't feel like doing that, so we decided to go with this move set and spread instead. But that is Tortuga, and then we're going to take a little look at the little grass hedgehog called Sonic Evergreen.
It's so pretty, isn't it?
He's so pretty.
It's so
now,
pretty.
the thing about Shaman here, he's got the Yachi Berry, want to deal with Mamoswine. Mamoswine is a huge threat to Leo's team. We clearly could see that. If you guys saw Warfor's video, it will be in the description. Probably going to have it as an end card annotation thing as well for you guys to check out. Also, go over there and subscribe. I mean, great, good lad. We're running Seed Flare, Psychic, Dazzling Gleam, and Synthesis. Synthesis as an option, like a recovery way, just safe recovery. I could have ran 4 moves like Earth Power as the last one, but we decided to go with Seed Flare, Psychic, and Dazzling Gleam. As Seed Flare, grass, as we mentioned earlier, Miguel has kind of a weakness to grass. And then with Psychic, we cover stuff like Embor, Tentacruel, stuff like that. That is kind of a bit scary for this thing as well. And then we have Dazzling Gleam, which is specifically for the Lottie, because that thing can quickly rise to become a huge problem. And then we got Ren max speed on the base 100s because we just felt it was the most useful.
Oh, exactly. And also with the good thing about this Shaman set is that it allows us to be able to get in there and do some work against and stand up against maybe a late game presence of of if he wants to, if Miguel's reeling on the ropes and wants to pop in there and start using some moves with a float soul, or wants to pop in with Reggie Rock, if he brings that by any chance, we still have the ability to, if he wants to use some weird stuff like that, we can stand in front of it. And also, again, with the psychic ability, Embor, if it wants to switch into this, ain't gonna work. Boom.
And then, of course, we have, Shaman as well is a nice sponge for status moves. Like, for example, Thunder Wave, Toxic, Burn, all of that stuff, because Natural Cure just allows it to swap out again, and that shit is neutralized. But other than that, of course, the big thing about Shaman that is also so scary, because you don't switch into Shaman, because Seed Flare has a 40% chance to lower the SPDF by 2 stages. Exactly. And after that, it's like, you need to outspeed, or the thing is gonna kill you, because now you have -2 SPDF, and that is a huge chance. That is even more than Skull Burns, and Skull Burns happen all the damn time, unless your name is Manaphy.
It's so true, though. But the cool thing about this is that as well, with the Yachi Berry presence, if someone's trying to run a non-stab ice move, trying to really catch it on the ropes or anything like that, we're going to be able to eat it and be able to just get back into the game, keep our presence, keep our focus, and move on to the next round. It allows us to be able to do so much with this set. I mean, I'm excited for this Shaman. This Shaman, I think, could actually very well be, Blastoise is obviously going to be the one that he's going to try to get the kills with, but I feel like Shaman could surprise us all and end up walking out of here with 2 or 3 kneecaps.
Good job, team. Get ready for the next round.
Now let's go over to the fourth pick, and the fourth pick is a toss-up. It really is a toss-up, because there's 2 Mons that fit in this roster at this 4th pick, and one of them is coming. We think that this one fits better. Now, obviously, his usage stats tell otherwise, but we think that this one fits better. And we don't have an item on it right now. What was the item again, Dan?
Expert Belt.
Expert Belt.
I knew I changed something when I sent the team to you. I knew there was one thing I changed.
It's okay. But, when it comes down to it, we looked over everything and saw that Krook just fits the roster better. Could you explain why here, Dan?
So the thing that separated Crocodile from Terrakion was there was 2 factors that considered. For one, this is a psychic immunity in case Megalodios has like Zen Headbutt and stuff, so this can be a potential switch in, as well as the factor of Intimidate, which shuts down it weakens down Miguel's physical attackers. But the main point that kind of separated the 2 was Pursuit. Being able to pursue trap something like Megalodi, being able to lock him in, and as well having that ground stab that we've been talking about this entire time. Ground and ice being those 2 scary types, and both of the teams struggling kind of with them. And on Miguel's side, the things that don't appreciate that appreciate ground, they're not the biggest fan of dark types. And I saw Krook was kind of like an opening right there. So Earthquake, Knockoff, Pursuit, and Shadow Claw. Now, Shadow Claw was just kind of up in the air, and I was trying to look for some coverage because this thing, for whatever reason, I'm a bit frustrated about it. It gets Fire Fang, it gets Thunder Fang, but Ice Fang, no, so we don't need that.
Can't do that, man.
So I figured out that Shadow Claw would be more effective. Of course, Power Up Punch could have been an option, but I was a bit on the ropes when it came down to Gore guys. If it stayed in after Knockoff, it was a bit toss up there, and Shadow Claw has those high crit chances. So that's what I finally decided to do with this thing. And Expert Belt, of course, for you guys, the Expert Belt boosts that super effective damage by 1.2 times, which is also nice to get. And Intimidate can also play a lot of mind games, because it can play as if it's Scarf, if it's consistently using Earthquake, or constantly using Knockoff can give Miguel that false sense of security that he's Scarf, and he can get different roles or something, trying to calc it. It can look like it's Scarf, but sometimes E-Belt, and it's just, you can never be too sure of it. And as well with the speed, we outspeed and max speed Mamoswine are base 80s, max attack in the 92, and with this mon, even number HP is not too much to worry about, because it resists the Stealth Rock, so it only takes 6% instead of the 12.5 or 25% that a normal Pokemon would, or a weak Pokemon to it would.
And that's really what makes this thing so special. We chose Intimidate, obviously, over Moxie. Some of you guys might be out there going, well, why not Moxie? We can just bring it in on a weak thing and just outspeed and then be able to rip through his entire team. Well, the problem is with that is that if you do that, then you're limiting yourself on your ability to shut down a Mon that's got his attack up. So let's say Latios has come in and started D-dancing all over the place. His attack's at like ×2 because you let 2 D-dances go up. You can bring in this thing on, and hopefully it's going for a Zen headbutt, right? Hopefully it's going for a Zen headbutt if it's running a D-dance.
You can only dream.
You can only dream. And then, obviously you're popping his attack down to 1.5 times at that point. And then having to make him look at himself and go, okay, what you gonna do, brother? You just sit there like a Mexican standoff and just go, come on now. Do you feel
Pull that
lucky?
trigger.
Do you feel lucky? Well, do you? Punk. And that's what kind of happens right there. So we figure Intimidate's better for this the overall shutdown of the physical offense from Miguel.
Tranquillo, more like Clint Eastwood.
Exactly. And he's even got the colors for Clint Eastwood. Yeehaw. But let's go over to our fifth
Now,
one.
before you guys move over, before we go into this one, take this set with a grain of salt, okay? Because I was building this one, I was having a bit of fun with it myself, and the thing is, it can work. Of course, it's very situational, but it can work, and I want you guys, don't crucify me in the comment section. You guys have seen it here on the channel before, and of course, Bruno is packing that gravity Zap Cannon. Now, there is no rules in the UCL or anything like that Zap Cannon isn't allowed. It's allowed on the ladder, it's allowed everywhere else. There's no place that bans Zap Cannon. So there's that. So Gravity, for those of you who don't know or are newcomers to the channel that haven't heard of this usage before, Gravity allows it lowers down the evasiveness of the opponent, like any Mon on the field, or raises the accuracy of a move. So Zap Cannon will go from 50% accurate to 86% accurate. And for those of you who don't know, Zap Cannon, most of you, it's basically the electric paralysis version of Dynamic Punch. So it's a guaranteed paralysis if it hits. It's the same as Inferno and Burn, Dynamic Punch and Confusion. If somebody makes one with ice, and freeze, someone is going to die. But of course we got that. We also got the Stealth Rocks because the pebbles are very important. It's crucial to almost every game to prevent your opponent from switching back and forth or punishing them for doing so, because chipping down every time something switches in is huge. And we also have Ice Punch because he has the Gore guys, he has the Latios, things that don't really appreciate it, and just having something to hit them with would be nice. Now, the option for Seismic Toss was there, but that means that the Gore guys just completely shut out Bruno, and it just wouldn't be worth it. So, at the end of the day, Ice Punch was the decided move. And this EV spread is kind of a bit here and there and everywhere all around. It's a bit of a mixed defensive. Doesn't need speed, so I decided to give it a sassy nature. Want to have it a bit more specially defensive, as everything here has been like, oh, physical deals with physical. So in case they bring something special, Registeel is here to take it. And then we got the 112 defense just to have some physical bulk as well. 12 attack just to do some damage with the Ice Punch, and then the 244 HP.
And this, like I said, whenever you got like a wall like Registeel is, we've got this thing set up, to where, if you want to play the Gravity play, I have no fear of being able to get shut down turn one. I mean, you can get the Gravity play off and be able to most likely take on 2 shots. There's very few things in the game that can 2-shot Registeel once if it's in the right situation. I mean, it's just hard to shut down that Pokemon. It's just bulk. I mean, even if you're hitting super effective against it, you're just like, why won't you die? Why won't you die?
Pat, just telling you, Pat, I don't want to hear about it. We all know sub on the counter. Leave me alone. Sub SDX Cadrill. Leave me alone, Pat. But yeah, that's basically Bruno, though. And then we only got one more. The Fat Fairy, the goddess. That's not really true, but the annoying Fat Fairy herself, the pink god of fairies in OU, Moonshine, the Clefable.
Boom. We're rocking the lefty set on there. We're rocking a full physical defense on here. You know what? We want to make sure this thing can take some hits on the physical side and keep on coming. For whatever reason, we expect this thing to be able to have to come in and deal. When you're running a Pokemon like this that can, it's going to be a calm minder. You want to always do the game, and the game is basically set up, recover, make your opponent stutter. Make him make the plays, okay? So when we do this right here, we're forcing him to have to go for the physical attack. And being full bold, it's like we're holding a shield to our faces right here while just powering up. It's like we're sitting there in Zen mode right there. It's kind of like being, just getting all that Zen power up while holding a shield. And that shield's going to hold out for us for quite some time. I do this all the time with Cresselia. I do this all the time with Florges. And I do it all the time with Espeon also. That's right, Espeon. Boom. Check it out, guys.
Try Cresselia.
I know, right? Cresselia. But I'm in love with the Clefable, because Clefable Magic Guard, you can just sit there and be like, oh, you want to toxic me? Oh, that's nice. That's nice. That's cute. I mean, I'll see you guys next week. You want to burn me? Oh, that's cute. I'll see you guys next week. It just stands there and just takes it like a champ.
And then, of course, the two moves that we've also chosen for our options here is Moonblast and Flamethrower. Now, Moonblast is just general stab that does hurt a lot of Miguel's team. He doesn't really have... He has the Klefki as resistance, as we saw from his team earlier, but other than that, I mean, he's got the Tentacruel. I suppose Tentacruel is a bit of a stopper to the set, but other than the Tentacruel... Tentacruel is the only thing that really worries this Clefable set, but other than that, we have Flamethrower for the Klefki, so the Klefki ain't gonna stop this thing. Even if we get to like a high enough setup Calm Mind scenario as well, then Tentacruel isn't really that scary either because it can't really touch it. I guess Acid Spray try to bring us back down, but it won't really be able to shut Clefable down before enough Moonblasts or Flamethrowers or whatever has overwhelmed the Tentacruel and it has gone down.
Exactly, because like I said, with Clefable, we do have the ability to self-heal more regularly than a Tentacruel would. Obviously, you see Black Sludge out there on Tentacruels, but this Clefable is going to be able to do what it needs to do. We can bring it in and switch it in, if we can get this thing, burned or toxic early in the game, then we can switch it in free into Klefki to be able to stand there and just take those priority T waves. I mean, it's just a good idea right there to be able to have this thing ready to go to, just be able to absorb whatever is going to come our way. Because that's just what Clefable does. It just stands there and just goes, all right, so so what we're going to do here? My name's Clefable, and we're going to make this all good. That's
got this. I got this, guys. Don't worry about it. You guys been slacking on work today? It's all right. It's all right. He's like that chill boss. You're like 5 minutes late. You show up there like, oh yeah, don't worry about it, man. You'll get paid for the 5 minutes you were gone. Don't worry about it.
You show up without your pants on. He goes, hey man, I got another pair in the car. Go for it. It's whatever. Clefable can do that. It's just cool like that.
I got you covered.
But when it comes down to it, guys, we really think that this is a very plausible roster based off of his usage and also with everything else that he does involve in the overall matchup. Yeah, and when we see this, we're seeing 4 of the mons that he is pretty much die hard bringing most of the matches. We're seeing that Victini, we're seeing that Blastoise Mega, we're seeing that Shaman, we're seeing that Clefable, and of course, I know that some of you guys are gonna be like, why are you picking Tranquilo over Horsepower? Well, it's because of what we were talking about earlier with just what we can do with Crocodile in this situational matchup. Like I said, if he switches it out for Terrakion, it wouldn't be the end of the world. It does a lot of the same things, but when it comes down to it, though, the final mon being the Registeel, he's gonna bring it and make it feel like it's all over for Miguel Mogwai. I don't know, guys. What do you think?
So, tell us down in the comment section down below. Of course, before we get to that section, please just take the Registeel set with a grain of salt. It is not serious. The Registeel set is not the most serious of things. I personally expect Seismic Toss, Thunder Wave over the slots of Gravity Zap Cannon, which are, of course, respectable options. But take the set with a grain of salt, but tell us otherwise. I mean, you can, of course, scrap the Bruno set and tell me what you guys would have brought as well. But tell us what you think Leo would have brought or what you think is the best set for him to bring in the comment section down below. Destroy, smash, obliterate. You can also pat it, be nice to the like button, I think it's being pretty tired of hearing everyone telling it to destroy it, smash it. Poor like button. But, give it a little gentle rub, click it, be nice to it, or not, if you want to click the dislike button as well, feel free to. You're not inclined to click anything, unless you absolutely feel it to. And if you have to hit that dislike button, feel free to let me know why, so we can change on that stuff. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, if you come from, for example, Warfor's channel. And there's going to be an end card here with the links to Warfor's channel. There's going to be a link to his video about Miguel's team. So we're gonna go over there and do that stuff. And then there's going to be some probably my last video, which was an NBA game. You guys can check that out too if you're interested in that stuff. But this has been our predictions of Leo's team for the UCL final, barring the Registeals that take it with a grain of salt. And with that, we are going to get out of here. So thank you to Warfor for joining me, and thank you for you guys for sticking out, coming out. I've been Dan. He's been
Lebanon, aka Warfor120. And guys, thank you so much for having a wonderful time today. Hopefully this UCL match is awesome, and we'll see you next time.
Goodbye, friends. Bye.